Gentlemen, welcome back to the Tiege Hanley Starting a Business, Building a Brand vlog. This one, big number 173. So did you miss me? I missed you. I really missed you over the course of the last 2 weeks. It feels like forever, but it's been 2 weeks. The team up at Tiege Hanley headquarters did an amazing job. I love that video. If you guys missed it 2 vlogs ago, go and watch it. It's an amazing opportunity to get a little bit more insight into what the various team members actually do. And for those of you who are looking to start a business or build a brand, the lessons and the information that they're sort of like sharing, like, you better pay attention because it's important. And the view on that video was super low, which made me go, what the heck is going on? The information, the value, power packed in that vlog 2 vlogs ago. Anyway, last week you saw the MENfluential vlog, which was kind of like a vloggy, not really a vlog. It was me with the camera running around. That conference takes a lot out of me. You know, not to say that it's not incredible and it's amazing. We've already got it all lined up for next year. But the one thing it's interesting, right? As much as I love doing it, as much as like it's amazing and being around all those incredible guys is so incredible, it's like emotionally very draining for me. You know, me doing my normal routine, I'm here in my office by myself, you know, most of the time. And there's something very, you know, for me, you know what I've come to realize? I think I've come to realize that I'm actually introverted. I'm an introvert. And when I say that, people are like, what? No. So here's the deal. An introvert, and the definition of an introvert, is somebody who gets like recharged and needs to be by themselves in order to sort of get themselves like back into the game and feel invigorated. And an extrovert is somebody who gets, you know, energized being around a lot of people. I am an introvert, as it turns out, and I think that as I get older, I get a little bit more introverted with, I say I'm introverted, I'm an introvert with extroverted tendencies. I can be in a room of people. I can, you know, be charming and funny and hang out with a lot of people, but at the end of the day, like, I need to be by myself because it's so incredibly powerful, it's emotional, and I just need time to be by myself. And as of like yesterday, it was like the first time I really felt like I had my time back, and it was amazing. But as a result, I get a little bit outside of my routine. And I didn't realize also, I mean, I realized this, but I didn't realize how much I need my daily routine in order to feel like okay and to get as much of the stuff that I need to get done. You know, I hate it. Whenever I'm not in my routine, whenever I get out of whack or I'm forced to be outside of that routine, it does also take a toll on me. And I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. It's just something that I've come to realize about myself. Kind of the same situation with me being an introvert. But I'm centered. I'm back. Got to hang out a little bit with Rob and Kelly here in Atlanta, and it was amazing. They're just such great guys, and we have an amazing relationship and connection. And I think that that's something that you really need to. It's unique and it's special in the sense that, you know, Rob and Kelly, they met each other washing dishes in high school, right? And then college. And so they've known each other for a really long time. So they've got this connection, they've got this bond, they've got this friendship. And it's amazing. Here I am, sort of like a third wheel. I came into the equation or the picture many years later, and it was strictly a business relationship. But the thing that's so cool is that the three of us really, I think, respect each other and enjoy each other's company. And I can say, I don't know if they would say the same thing about me, but I just like them. I like them as people. They're good people. And I think that in today's world, that's something that they really need to find. And something else that this conference sort of reminded me of, and seeing some of the pictures with like me and Antonio and me with everybody, is that if you've got a great network of friends, or you can find friends that you really love being around, you need to be around them as much as possible, because they are not only going to help you sort of just deal with life, but they add so much texture and incredible like depth to to your life. And I know that's a little bit abstract, but if you've got great friends, embrace them, love them, and be around them as much as possible. And so now that I'm by myself here in my office, you know, I do miss the guys. But Rob and Kelly, just great guys, and I love being around them. They're all so smart. And I feel like I'm very fortunate and lucky that the universe and the stars aligned and collided in something that I feel is really special. And Tiege Hanley, as much as it's a great business, it's about not only you, but it's about us. It's about the team. It's about everybody that we have be a part of this world of Tiege Hanley. Everybody's so amazing, and I'm just lucky, I'm fortunate, and I'm just thankful. So thank you. So Tiege Hanley is doing well. I'm going to have a lot more to report next week. And, you know, we got a lot of stuff going on. I'm waiting for this week's meeting to get some information about things that we've been developing. I've been a little bit out of sorts just with the conference and getting my schedule and everything back together. But Tiege Hanley has been cranking. We're doing incredibly well. That sort of lull that we were in during December, we've shot out of it, and we are on an incredible trajectory, and things are good. But now I'd like to get to some of your business questions, because it's been a while. There were some that I saw that I thought were incredible, and I'd like to get to them now. There was one question that I saw the other day when I posted the vlog, but for some reason it's been removed, and I'm not sure why it's been removed by the person, or I don't know, it's not there, I can't find it. But it was something I wanted to address first and foremost, and it was about religion and politics. I talk, and I've mentioned before, that on my YouTube channel, I don't talk about religion or politics. They're two things that I just stay far away from. And I don't want to dive too deeply into this, but I just want to give you my perspective. It frustrates me when I see, you know, people that have, you know, media attention, or that are, you know, celebrities, or people that have a voice and an outlet, and lots of people that look up to them or follow them. It bothers me at times when they feel like they need to get it off their chest and tell everybody sort of what they feel and what they think, and it doesn't feel smart to me. A perfect example of this was Casey Neistat. He did a video where he was in support of Hillary Clinton. And, you know, it was just a video where he was like, Hillary Clinton, I am voting for Hillary Clinton, and this is why. And that is the perfect example of what I don't want to do. I don't want to alienate 50% of my audience. And a few weeks ago, we talked about, one of the business questions was from one of our friends who was talking about starting a YouTube channel, and he wants to curse, and do I think it's a good idea? And the takeaway was, you've got to decide what's right for you. Now, there are certain YouTube channels, certain people, that's their business, that's their job, that's what they have an audience for hearing their views on world, religion, on politics, and all that stuff. But I made a decision a long time ago that I wanted to be sort of neutral, in the sense that I don't want to be somebody who's like, you need to believe exactly what I believe, or this is what I believe. And so, because you know that you're going to alienate 50% of your audience, right? Regardless of what I believe politically, if I start, you know, hammering like, oh, President Trump sucks, or if I'm like, Hillary Clinton's the greatest thing ever, or whatever, you know that 50%, like 50% of your audience is going to be like, yo, I don't believe you, or I don't believe that, and you're wrong, and so I'm leaving. And so I made the decision. It was a business decision. You know, it's okay. I've got my views. I've got my opinions. So do you. And that's cool. I'm not going to talk about it because it really has no bearing on the content or what I'm trying to do for a career. Same thing goes for religion, right? I've got religious beliefs, but it's not something that I care to share, because I know that there are a lot of people that will not believe, or they don't believe what I believe. And it's not like I'm going to change anybody's mind, and I don't want to change anybody's mind politically or, you know, religiously. Hey, you believe what you believe, I'm going to believe what I believe. I just hope that we can come together and be cool and hang out, and that's that. It's so frustrating to see people on Facebook and, you know, get into arguments and debates where nobody's going to change anybody's mind. It's just causing anger and strife, and I just feel like it's not needed. My grandfather had a saying, feed your ego or feed your family. And that is something that I take to heart. If I come out here and I'm just like, oh, you know, this is what I believe politically, and it doesn't make sense. And so, you know, that's something that bothers me when I see, you know, celebrities coming out and like, you know, really like protesting certain things. Now, I say that, but I know that it's good. I know that if somebody has a cause and you've got a voice and you've got an audience, you can definitely impact change. But, you know, for my content, I decided to sort of try to, you know, not talk about those things because there's such hot button issues. And so, you know, for you, the business takeaway or lesson is it important for you to tell everybody what your political views are? Just know that you're going to alienate 50% of your audience. You choose. It's up to you. Business question. Hey, Alpha, pre-mail basics, Seth here. So this gentleman, Seth, I met at the conference. He comes up to me. He's like, I've been a subscriber since like before Mail Basics. Mail Basics was this underwear company that I was promoting, and it was some of the cringiest videos. I dressed up like a pimp named Raul. I wore like a boa and like a bandana. It was so. This was back in my discovery days when I was trying to figure out who I was. Anyway, Seth and I had a big laugh about that. I'm like, oh my God, I was so embarrassed. Somebody else interesting that I met, remember how I was on Shark Tank? And if you watch the second episode when I talked about the first time I was on where I was pitching the Alpha M style system, and I said, you know, hey, the night of the episode, it was heartbreaking that that episode aired because I literally sold one style system. Guy comes up to me at the conference and it's like, hey, I found you on Shark Tank. I said, oh, really? He's like, yeah, remember how you said you sold one style system? I go, yeah. He goes, I'm the guy who bought it. So it was kind of cool and it was pretty funny. Anyway, Seth, good to see you. It was incredible to meet you. He says, and I'll be back next year. The business question I have for you, later this year, I'll be launching the pre-sale and sale of my book, starting to get into the process of building and designing a website. Good for you. Congratulations. You've mentioned before that you have had issues with false purchases in the past. How were you able to combat that? Thanks so much. Yes. For those of you who have been watching this vlog for a while, Pete and Pedro, I had a situation where I had a ton of fraudulent transactions. I probably lost $30,000, literally. $30,000 of fraudulent orders that went out, and I didn't understand why. I didn't know why it was happening. I didn't know how to stop it. Come to find out after a lot of investigation and research that PayPal has this thing called PayFlow Pro, which is like a way to sort of look like it's your shop and process credit cards and payments. The interesting thing, and one of the loopholes or issues for hackers, which they know, which I didn't, is that you don't need to verify like addresses or CVC codes or something like that. Like the credit card and information that you entered, you could just like process a credit card, right? And so the issue was that they aren't verifying. And when I finally figured this out, I called them. I'm like, wait a second, you're not comparing the credit card with the address? You're not like checking this stuff out? Because you can buy credit cards, fake credit card, or not fake, real credit cards on the dark web, on all sorts of sites, right? And so this guy was just using a bunch of, you know, credit card numbers and sending them to different addresses, different names, and it wasn't matching, and it didn't matter. And they were like, hey, we expect you and your fraud detection and department to handle this. I said, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? So literally $30,000 of fraudulent transactions I lost. And it was all because of this one plugin, PayFlow Pro. I don't know if they fixed it. I don't care. We went over to Shopify, and Shopify, for all intents and purposes, I have absolutely loved. They do a great job. There are other things that you can buy, though. If you're worried about it, there are companies out there that will basically sort of take on the liability of transactions. And so there's a company that I use called Signified. It's a second layer of protection and fraud protection. And so when that all happened, I was using that. I was using a bunch of different things. And then I went to Shopify, and Shopify does a great job. Amazon, another awesome company to sell things on, because Amazon assumes the fraud risk, right? So they do, like, they've got like crazy fraud detection from what I understand, and they assume the risk. So if you send it and it comes out to be a fraudulent credit card or whatever it is, you are protected as the seller from what I understand. I could be wrong, but from what I remember in terms of my research, that's what I remember. But yeah, there are options out there, but PayFlow Pro, that was a very expensive learning experience and lesson for me. Love Shopify. I've loved Shopify. I haven't figured out, you know, the big issue with them. Of course, you're going to have some fraudulent transactions. They happen. It's just the cost of doing business. But you know, you also, here's the other thing. I'm a target, right? I am a super target. I'm on YouTube. I'm a public figure to some degree. And so there are just people out there that don't like me. And so they're going to come after me. You, Seth, you know, you seem like a pretty charming guy, and you don't seem very polarizing. And so I don't think you're going to have as many people wanting to fraudulently buy your book as opposed to just effing with me. And so there's always that. Next question comes from our boy James Humphreys. He says, how difficult was it? James, you ask a lot of questions, a lot of good questions. I appreciate that you're using this vlog the way it's supposed to be used. Guys, if you've got a business question, we are here to help. All right, down in the comments, start your question with business question and then ask it. It doesn't matter what it is. I will try to answer it. If I don't know the answer, I might just screw it up and say I don't know, or I'll call somebody who does. How difficult was it for Tiege Hanley to figure out shipping? From who to use, shipping to different countries, how much to charge the customers, or if to charge at all for offering shipping? How hard is shipping? It's hard. Shipping is one of those things where it's a constant sort of figuring things out, right? Because, you know, that is one of the most difficult things to figure out in terms of shipping, right? Because nowadays with Amazon, like, everybody's like free shipping and free domestic shipping and free shipping over $50. Like, free shipping is a big thing. As customers, we've almost come to expect that we're going to get free shipping, or there's a way to get free shipping. International, it's a whole nother animal, a whole nother like basket of problems and headaches. You know, certain countries, the product never shows up. And so the cost of doing business and selling to those countries is not worth it. There are a lot of countries that we won't sell to. Other countries it always gets to. And certain countries you wouldn't think have like free, or not free, but you know, low cost shipping. It's super inexpensive to ship to like certain countries that you would think, wait a second, it's far away, it should be expensive. It's not, right? And so really doing your homework and testing and trying different things out. Shipping is one of those things, though, that you gotta figure it out, because it could be the make or break difference between you being successful and not successful. A lot of people think, oh, I'm going to, and I'll use Beard Brand. Another story about Beard Brand. I talked about them last time, and I just saw Eric at the conference. And he's like, hey, we're killing our international shipping and sales. I'm like, really? Because in your head, you're like, yo, if they're customers, I want to get it to them. But sometimes the cost of doing business, especially if you're sending something that's heavy, it's tough, right? And, you know, now with like customs, there are all sorts of like fees and paying it's complex. And, you know, it's tough to figure out. And so I think, you know, DHL is an amazing company. FedEx, UPS are more expensive. DHL internationally has been incredibly effective and affordable, very trackable. You know, there's all sorts of ways to skin the cat. The USPS, decent, but a lot of package is lost for me in my experience. And it's tough, right? Because when people are like, hey, I didn't get my package, you can't be like, yes, you did. I don't believe you. You just can't say that. And so, you know, you got to reship. And so you need to make sure you're finding a company that is reliable and that is trackable. Basically like to the door trackable, because that definitely will cut down, because there are cheaper options like, hey, we're going to track it to here, but then after that, there's no tracking, right? Like internationally, you got to be able to track it to the door. Customers expect, as soon as they place that order, to pretty much be able to click on a tracking number and see where their package is. The other thing is that, and now I'm getting into this, The other reason why tracking is so incredibly important is that it's going to cut down on the amount of customer service emails you get. If you've got crappy tracking, the amount of customer service emails you're going to have to deal with goes up exponentially. We saw a reduction in that once we got better shipping, better trackability, and so that's something you definitely need to investigate and look into. But great question. Thanks for asking it. John Shanahan has a very good question. As an influencer, how do you balance the time you spend watching, consuming Instagram and YouTube versus creating? Since it's technically work to scroll through and consume both, and you need to get up and keep up with the trends in both to stay competitive. And then he goes on to ask, had a great time at MENfluential. See you next year. Thank you so much, John, for coming out and supporting, and it was great meeting you. How much time do I spend consuming content? Not that much. For me, it's about creating, right? Every single day. 6 videos a week is what I have to, not optional, have to create. And so for me, I do scroll through different times. I have times of the day where I'll consume a little bit of content. When I'm doing cardio, on the treadmill, on the Stairmaster, when I'm at the gym, typically I will do cardio at the gym a few days a week. I consume content. When I go out for my run, which is what I prefer to do, I just listen to music, and that's time for me and my head to get that right. But laying in bed, sometimes I'll scroll through Instagram. I don't consume as much as I think a lot of people do. And it's also something where I don't consume much media in general. I found that I was less happy when I was seeing what was going on with the news all the time, and when I'm constantly on Facebook. I'm pretty much off of Facebook for the most part. And Instagram, I will look. I do enjoy Instagram. It's quicker, it's easier. YouTube, I do follow certain people, but it's impossible to follow as much content that's going out there. I mean, it's nuts, which is also sort of challenging because as a creator, you're competing with all of this content that's constantly being thrown out there and created by all these people that are in a similar space. So for me to set myself apart, I've got to be kind of in my head, and I've just got to work. And so I don't consume that much. But great question. I know that I'm not the norm. I know Antonio Centeno, he's taken I think Instagram off his phone. He's got people and systems set up to help him with that because he found that he was spending too much time. And as an entrepreneur, you do need to be very, very specific on how you spend your time. Your time is your most precious and valuable commodity. And consuming content that you don't really need to be consuming is one thing that for me, I need to really sort of harness because I got too much work to do. And if I consume that, I'm not doing this, and I need to do this, if that makes sense. Guys, that's it. Incredible vlog. Thank you. So if you like this vlog, give it a thumbs up, would you? Because we're always looking for that. Remember, we love you more than our double monk strap shoes. And also, if you haven't been and checked out the new website, guys, it is rock solid. We're still dealing with issues, which I might address next week. But overall, the site, the feedback has been amazing. Conversions are good, not as good as we would like them to be. The landing page conversions are great. We'll talk about that a little bit more next week, along with your incredible business questions. Guys, thank you so much. We love you more. Say it with me. More than our double monk strap shoes.